Imagine the thrill of watching elite athletes push their limits on the tennis court, delivering match after match of heart-pounding drama. Yet behind the scenes, the organization meant to showcase this brilliance is scrambling to keep up. That's the captivating reality of women's tennis right now. A sport exploding with talent and excitement on the court, but an association that's falling short in building a solid foundation to truly elevate it. If you're a fan or just curious about the world of racket sports, stick around, because this year's season has been nothing short of spectacular, and the challenges ahead are about to get even more intriguing. As the women's tennis season drew to a close, the final stretch brought an unexpected plot twist in the intense battle to secure spots at the WTA Finals, the prestigious year-end tournament featuring the top 8 players globally. Elena Rybakina, who clinched the Wimbledon title in 2022, finally unleashed her full potential after a string of close calls. She powered through competitors to claim victory in Ningbo, China, locking in her place in Riyadh for the finals. A huge accomplishment that cements her among the elite. But here's where it gets controversial. Rybakina's surge came at the expense of Mirra Andreeva, the remarkable 18-year-old sensation who dominated at WTA 1000 events in Dubai and Indian Wells this year. She appeared destined to qualify in singles for the finals, but her exclusion highlights just how fiercely competitive this season has been. One of the most grueling in women's tennis history, where even the prodigies face relentless pressure. At the pinnacle of the sport, Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek have solidified their legacies as generational greats. Sabalenka, reigning as the world's top player, delivered another flawless campaign, adding her 4th Grand Slam trophy at the US Open and making deep runs in the Australian and French Open finals. Swiatek, meanwhile, conquered the Wimbledon title, the one she never thought she'd grasp, marking her 6th major victory overall. For beginners diving into tennis, think of the Grand Slams, like Wimbledon, the US Open, Australian Open, and French Open, as the sport's equivalent to the Super Bowl or World Cup, the biggest, most prestigious tournaments that define a player's career. And this is the part most people miss. Despite the dominance of these stars, the rest of the field hasn't given them a moment's respite. The fierce rivalry has produced some unforgettable clashes all year long. Take Madison Keys, who pulled off back-to-back monumental upsets against Swiatek and Sabalenka to snag her maiden Grand Slam at the Australian Open, a testament to how depth in the women's game can turn any match into a thriller. In Paris, Coco Gauff cleverly outmaneuvered Sabalenka in a nail-biting, wind-swept 3-set battle to claim her 2nd major at just 21. Just 2 days prior, Sabalenka dethroned Swiatek in a classic showdown, ending her 3-year reign as French Open champion. The US Open's women's semi-final day stands out as one of the year's finest tennis spectacles. Sabalenka battled past Jessica Pegula in an exhilarating, top-notch encounter, while Amanda Anisimova capped her long-overdue breakout year by edging out Naomi Osaka to advance to a 2nd straight Grand Slam final. Even Swiatek's commanding 6-0-6-0 victory over Anisimova in the Wimbledon final contributed to a riveting narrative, only for Anisimova to flip the script 2 months later, defeating Swiatek in New York at the first chance. This year has been a golden era for women's tennis in terms of on-court action, but as the WTA Finals approach, that age-old question lingers. Can the tour create a robust platform to transform the sport into a booming global phenomenon? As the WTA's premier event, the finals have mirrored the organization's hurdles in recent times. Originally slated for a 10-year stint in Shenzhen, China, the tournament was derailed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the WTA's principled but short-lived stance against the disappearance of tennis star Peng Shuai, leading to the cancellation of their partnership after just the inaugural 2019 edition. Since then, the event has hopped from country to country amid various challenges, plunging the WTA into severe financial difficulties. Their eventual move to Saudi Arabia helped alleviate some cash woes, and the organization has undergone significant restructuring. In 2023, CVC Capital Partners, a private equity firm, invested in a 20% share of the WTA's new commercial entity, WTA Ventures. Last August, they brought on Portia Archer as the new CEO. But here's the kicker. Despite these shakeups, including a major rebranding effort with fresh graphics and the catchy slogan, Rally the World, the WTA's public presence hasn't evolved much. Their marketing budget pales compared to the men's ATP Tour, evident in their minimal social media engagement and scarce original YouTube content. For context, think of the ATP as having a vibrant, content-rich streaming service that keeps fans hooked with endless videos, while the WTA lags far behind. 8 years after launching its own dedicated streaming platform, WTA TV, it still lacks a standalone app and worldwide reach. This stands in stark contrast to the ATP's Tennis TV, which overwhelms users with material. A troubling misstep that raises eyebrows about the WTA's decision-making was shutting down the WTA Insider program, a valuable tool for sharing the sport's compelling backstories. Overall, the WTA has long struggled to promote its players' personalities effectively. In an era where women's sports are gaining unprecedented popularity and traction internationally, the WTA should be at the forefront, setting the standard. Yet, it's hindered by internal issues, and the road ahead remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is the exceptional caliber of talent on the court. As competition kicks off on Saturday, with Coco Gauff defending her title against a stacked lineup of the world's finest, we're in for more unforgettable tennis. Do you think the WTA is doing enough to market women's tennis? Or is it time for a bolder digital strategy? Is the focus on-court excellence overshadowing these organizational flaws? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree that Saudi Arabia was the right move, or should they have pursued alternatives? Let's discuss.